Would they send them?
There you go.
Yes.
I move for approval as presented.
Second.
Okay. Same with the minutes. We have minutes in front of them. I take a motion for approval. Okay, Rita? Second. Okay. Thank you. Oh, you know what? I jumped ahead a little bit. The approval of the agenda actually, Tanya just informed me, number 6 and number 7, we are gonna table because they actually were just here doing updates with our orientation. So the agenda will
I
be,
move
Yeah,
for
thank you.
that change.
okay. Second?
Second.
Okay, so 6 and 7 are off. We will table them for another time. And are you stepping in for Jean on number test to treat? Okay, you're up.
I'm up.
Already, I know.
Well, okay.
When you take half the agenda, it's good. There you go.
I might not have a copy of the agenda in front of me.
What do you want in here?
Okay, so last month, you were interested in the test to treat that we had mentioned. So we went ahead and took it a few steps further and created a COVID resource guide. So along the lines of one-stop shopping, one-stop shop for COVID. So we had one of our public health generalists reach out to all of our known centers who are either giving vaccine, offering testing, and the test to treat option. So it looks like for the test to treat, Amory Hospital and Clinic and St. Croix Regional Medical Center are the two centers that are doing that. And I think we are working with them to, if we test them at our facility, we can have a copy of the test results. They walk it up to the center, one of the centers, the health centers, and they're able to use that as a verified test, because you have to have a verified test to be able to receive the treatment. You have to be within a certain window of your symptom onset. I believe that they were accepting ours. Otherwise, we offer the free testing 5 days a week. We just changed our hours up. We found that Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday were our busier days. Actually, I think that's flip-flopped. Monday and Thursdays are our busy days, 9 to 3. So people get sick on the weekend, they hunker down, they drive through our testing. So we're seeing an increase in testing demand on that day. Start feeling sick, don't want to go to the relative's house on Thursday, so they come through the drive-through and get a test. Otherwise, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday is 9 to noon. So if you want to scratch that out, we'll get that corrected on this guide. Otherwise, yeah, Walmart is offering Chet Johnson's, and then the 3 medical centers and ourselves. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but this will be posted on our website and distributed. I think it's been on our Facebook page too. We'll get it redistributed with the correct hours for the testing.
The last one on our Facebook page is with the correct times.
Okay.
Just doesn't have this out there yet.
Hey, Denise, can you hear us? Because you might have had something you wanted to say about virals, antivirals.
Yes, I wish I would have had that, but I was one of the last Monday people. I did test to treat. It worked swimmingly. It was before you posted that, but still it worked great because I'm in the Amory's here, so being one of the centers. And then I immediately received the antiviral, and it was delivered to me in my car at the Amory drugstore, not Chet Johnson's. They did not have it. So you might want to circle around on that again and find out if that's true. But thank you all. I'm going on mute.
Okay, so clarification. So Chet's is in both Amory Hospital and downtown. I'm going to make a good assumption that you have to go through the Amory Medical Center, Amory Hospital and Clinic to be able to get it through the Chet's Pharmacy at the clinic.
Yeah, I don't know that they call it that name anymore. I don't even know that they're affiliated anymore.
Okay, used to be a long time ago.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, the pharmacy at,
We only have listed checks for vaccination, not treatment.
okay. Through the Amory Hospital, their pharmacy, located right inside. Used to be run by Chet's, maybe not anymore.
Amory Hospital Pharmacy.
What was that? Denise?
Amory Hospital Pharmacy.
Yes, okay.
It's listed under that's listed under Amory Hospital.
Any other questions? Was this part of it? Stay there. Because you're now you're also Jean on number 9, the farmer's market.
Okay, farmer's market. So we're really excited about farmer's market. We've been doing Power of Produce. It's a kid-driven program to get them interested in fruits and vegetables. You'll see those pop signs if you visit farmers markets. And basically what it is, so Lexi, our person who is running Power of Produce this year, gives the kiddos a card when they show up. They get to verify. Every time they visit, they get $6. It doesn't matter if they visit, $6 in coupons to buy fruits and vegetables. So they could visit 3 different sites in one day and get $18. So we want them going. The coupons are then turned into Lexi at the end of the day, and the farmers get the vendors get the cash right there at the farmers market. So with this, I know Chair Middleton was interested in getting the farmers markets marketed more in the community because we have so many, and it is a great benefit. So we are working to launch more of a marketing campaign to get that out there. This is just one of the sub things that we offer through farmers markets in the summertime. They can also use their WIC vouchers, so those programs go hand in hand. So a vendor could be a Power Produce vendor, they could be a WIC vendor at the same time, just encouraging people to eat healthy foods and visit their farmers markets. In addition, I just grabbed these things. So these, like Lexi keeps these under lock and key. She said they can't take them with because there's money attached to it. So she only gave me one, otherwise I'd share with you guys. So she's got all kinds of recipes that they can grab. There's activities they can do. There's she has a maze, scavenger hunt, that kind of thing, just to really get kids interested in farmers market, healthy eating. So under development is getting connected with all of the farmers markets. Each one has like a lead person that coordinates for the area. So we are working with those guys.
How many is she in now?
Hmm?
How many is Lexi doing now?
She's doing, Mondays and Fridays are allocated, and she's hitting ones around Emery, Osceola, and St. Clair Falls. But we're also taking staff volunteers who want to man our booth for other ones like Balsam Lake, some of the smaller ones.
Anybody? Okay. Cool. Very good. Yeah, that's exciting. I've seen them at the farmers market, so it's kind of fun. Yeah. Does $6 work enough for the kids? Can you buy something for $6?
That's a lot of carrots.
Okay.
Right?
But it doesn't work for the cookies and the sweetbread, does it?
Okay, number 10 is the mobile clinic command post. Not sure what our name is yet. Just was gonna give, right?
It's a tough one, I know.
The Winnebago, he called it yesterday. My mind went
Sorry.
to Winnebago, because we use Winnebago all the time.
I know.
Yeah, what are you
so-
talking about?
What you have in front of you is a draft. Let me see your copy. It's weird like mine.
It's weird.
Okay, so there's just some notes from yesterday. Actually, if you took off the second page, you have the whole resolution. So it's on the thing, it's page 12 of this packet and page 13 of amended packet. So that's all you need. So the second page, just get rid of it. It's not confuse you. Does that make sense? So there's some notes from yesterday. So the update is that this got turned into formatting. I got some input from Barbara. Tanya worked with Don Burrows, and we got input on some numbers and sort of flushed this out a little bit. And it needs some more flushing out. And it went to Gen Gov yesterday. And correct me, Vince, if I get this wrong, but what essentially they decided was, because there's several competing resolutions before them for ARPA money, that we would kind of put a pause. That committee's going to start digging into these a little bit more and looking for more details. So that's what our next challenge is to kind of go to the next step, because we really ran out of time. So,
Right.
Anything else?
If you can imagine, it became some top priorities started bubbling to the top. Is the best way to describe it. Some we knew weren't county centric. Some were more specialized in certain areas. So we wanted to keep this consistent. We've got some very good things already, but it started to become and feel like a first come, first served basis. And with that became a race to get the request in, and questions were not being asked or answered. So the General Government Board agreed, or committee agreed, I think yesterday they did, to say, let's pause, and then I'll do the same thing at the board meeting next Tuesday to say, let us investigate each of these top opportunities or anything else that comes in that meets those criteria. And we'll do it the right way as opposed to the fastest way. That's kind of how we're doing it.
Vince, do you think at the board, we can actually just amend the agenda and take the resolutions off the board agenda, because the Gen Gov said that board kicked it to us and we're still working on it? Or do we have to go to the full board? And
My feeling is it's on the agenda and those resolutions have been submitted. So it would be, I don't know, is that be inappropriate for me to just yank them from the
No,
agenda?
I think it'll be something that this committee and Gen Gov will let Jay Luke know, so that he can announce that although they're on, they're going to stay at committee and just be continued to the next until it comes to fruition and we have enough information. If he announces that right at the beginning, I think.
we won't necessarily have a discussion then.
I don't think, yeah,
Because
and
we're not ready to, so I just don't want us to
Right.
have the discussion of one of them and not all. of them.
Right,
You know what
I think
mean?
they are sending just the two.
well, a resolution to say how might we fund the Justice Center roof and or the museum tower was what general government
But it
decided.
didn't have, they didn't say it had to be out of ARPA. It was like, let's figure this out.
Right.
All of our money. Right.
Right.
And will that be at the Tuesday one already?
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll discuss that.
All right. So if you guys, committee members, have anything on here, read this and give Tanya and me like ways that we can strengthen it, numbers that we need, issues that are not on here that we have questions about. That is super helpful. So, okay. Division strategic plan update.
Yeah, I can do that quick. We might get out of here in record time.
Yeah, you might.
Although we've had you since 8:30 this morning, most of you. So this, the strategic plan update, we are rounding out the year 3 of our strategic plan. Last 3 years ago, we did a strategic plan exercise with our entire staff where we prioritized our needs. We went with the lean models. We focused on we're doing 3 Ps: people, process, and purpose. So we organized all of our priorities into those 3 categories. I anticipate we will do much the same for this next cycle. Out of the last strategic plan, we developed an employee engagement survey as part of the people process, because we really want our people to be happy and stay with us for a long time. So wanting to know what that engagement level is. We've done 2 surveys so far. We've seen some positive results on the survey with some of the things that we've put into place. You guys are all now receiving our wonderful newsletter with maybe 1 or 2 corrections, because somebody always catches a mistake. So you guys are receiving that now. That was one of our big communication things. So obviously, communication is one of the biggest areas that we can improve on, always improving on. And we took that to heart and beefed up our communication with our division, as well as to the committee members and other parts of the county with the division heads. They can share it as they wish, but seeing some really good results on that. And just looking at how we communicate day to day, what that process looks like for our staff to be able to know what's happening in our division. Obviously, we have a pretty large division and covering lots of stuff every single day. So keeping staff in the know is top priority for us. Also focusing on culture and improving our culture. We've done some nice additions with our remodel, creating some nicer spaces for staff. Their jobs are really hard every day. They're out in the field trudging through. So we want to be able to have them have some flexibility and also nice spaces to work. Really focused on that. And that is showing in our engagement results. So we'll keep moving. We do it every 6 months. So moving the needle in a positive way. Trauma responsive, we have a trauma responsive work group. I don't know, do you want to say just a couple of things about what trauma responsive is, what that means for us?
Sure.
And how that ties in with engagement?
Polk County Community Services did a great job of training us on being trauma informed, right? Like what that means, what are the effects of trauma when people act a certain way, behave a certain way, or maybe don't say things based on the experiences they had in their life. So being trauma informed, Community Services has done a great job of teaching staff on that. What we're moving towards now is being trauma responsive. So how do we respond to those behaviors? How do we respond to those people, whether they're our coworkers or they're the consumers that we're working with every day? So there's a trauma responsive work group right now, and there's 2 people from each unit within community services that are part of this work group. We meet monthly. Right now, the work group is working on completing a training for the entire CSD staff that will occur this fall on being trauma responsive. So it'll be broken up 3 different parts. The first part will be just kind of being trauma responsive 101, what that means, what that looks like, different areas of safety, whether that's physical safety, psychological safety, cultural safety, things like that. The next part will be breaking up into groups to talk about how to bring this information back to your specific unit, back to economic support or behavioral health. I mean, thinking of things of like how we have our chairs laid out in our rooms, the signage on the walls, like how we greet our consumers or the kids that we're working with. And then the third part of that work group, that training will be taking care of ourselves as workers in the tough work that we do every day. So that great balance of work, life, stress, and then plugging into the community, resources within our building and community to make sure that our workers are taking care of themselves so we can take care of the community. Yes, and it's a thing, and it's real out there.
Right, give me just like a couple of examples of what we do or doing for the staff.
So we have a great room downstairs called the Den.
That
That
picture that we had,
I think there were pictures in there of the Den.
the newsletter, and new furniture and.
Yeah, we have a couple of mindfulness rooms. So if we just need to take a break, like maybe we met with a family, it was really tough, or we just talked to a consumer that was really angry, and we just need to kind of ground ourselves and take a break. We have mindfulness rooms, like soft lighting, comfortable chair. There's some self-guided meditation in there. Workers can just go in and take, 10-15-minute break to kind of regroup. We have 2 of those rooms, the dens, we've got walking paths, we've got exercise rooms, yoga rooms. Yeah. So I think, the key is take care of ourselves so we can take care of the community.
Yeah, and if anybody is interested in that training from the committee or other departments, we welcome anybody to attend. Coming up in October, it'll be a half-day session. So we would enjoy having some other participation other than our staff.
Yeah, and the trainers will be the trauma responsive work.
Do people actually take advantage of this room? Because I know a lot of people are drawn to are terrible at caring for themselves. How do you feel like it's going in terms of people making use of it when they really need it instead of just powering through?
Yeah, I think that people do self-initiate and go to the room and use it when they need to. I know that a couple of times we prompted people like, gosh, maybe you need to take a break, take a walk, use the mindfulness room. So I think it's a combination of both. Is it used as much as we would like? Probably not, because we want to always, as public servants, sometimes we take on more.
I think the one on the first floor is used more.
Yeah, the one on the first level is used often, and of course, we have signs on it that it's in use, but yeah, it's used quite a bit, and that faces the north side of the building, but there's a nice window and plants, and we put a fish tank in there recently, and so, yeah, it's very nice.
And the den officially opens tomorrow, so we have a little open house for our staff. We have our all staff meetings. We're gonna provide some treats for them and get them in there, but people are already in there using it. We've got good.
Hard to get people out of the power through mindset.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions, Rita? Hey Denise, do we have your hand up? Are you asking a question? Somebody?
The attendees tab has.
Well,
Nope. Okay.
All right,
Yeah, I'm not sure who this person is.
okay. Awesome, thanks, Tanya. So are you also doing the 2022 budget priorities?
Well, I think this
Discussion
is,
possible action on the
2023.
did you have anything?
Well, it's just, we've asked you guys to start thinking about what priorities are in the presentation. You learn that you bring the priorities to us if you're hearing from the community. So start thinking about that. I don't know if you have.
That's the same, just so you know the process. So with Tanya, we meet regularly and she feeds to me what the trends are, what the issues are, what the ideas are. That all goes into the building of our plan for the budget. What we'd like is for you guys too, to make sure if you come up with ideas or concerns, bring it to Tanya so that, you know, she could discuss those with me. So
We want one more carrot. I think.
one more carrot.
Those are assignments for you guys, you know.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Let's see, preliminary end of year financial report.
All right, I got the preliminary audit last Thursday. These are prelim numbers, they're not final, so I mean, they're subject to change as we go through these. And we're trying to wrap it up by the 5th so that you should have a full report in July. The fund balance, the unassigned fund balance, I mistold general government yesterday, I wrote down the wrong number. Our overall net position for the county improved by 2.8 million, or all our funds combined overall, because we have special funds, restricted funds, all that kind of stuff. But our unassigned actually went up by 3.8 million is what the number is, which is continues the growth we've seen, putting our present balance at 63.52%. So breaking it down towards this division, you know, we have resolutions that clear Fund 215 and 216, Child Protective Services and Health Services back to the general fund at year end. And 217 now. But we don't have a resolution for 217. We're just doing it as a matter of practice. And so what happens is if they're over, that money comes back to the general fund because our policy is levy dollar is last dollar, meaning we use all grants and proceeds before we ever touch levy. So what they're returning is levy dollars because you find grants and proceeds elsewhere. Now that area gets a especially large portion of grants, and COVID had a massive impact on both them and GAM in the sense of grants and additional revenues. So the 215 gave back 1.249 million into that 3.8 overall. And then the 216 gave back 392,000 to that overall.
What's the 216? What are those numbers?
DCF. Behavioral.
DCF behavioral health,
Your
yeah.
poetry.
Yeah.
215 is DCF, 216 behavioral health, and now 217 will be public.
217 is a new creation. We wanted to pull them into one fund. So we have our general fund is called the 101. Then we have highway, which is 701. And then we have the 3 health funds, 215, 216, 217. And then we have several special funds that we use for different things. Now, a lot of the impact for the 215 fund is going to be COVID money, and services were different during the COVID time and all that. A lot of the impact for behavioral health is going to be vacancy and staffing, reducing services for that time period. We have a lot of vacancies, and those vacancies led to the surplus. As you recall, typically for the last couple of years, we've seen a surplus out of the 215, but the 216, and we've had to fund it because, like I said, if they don't have enough, that gets pulled from the fund balance. So overall, our position has improved impressively. Having said that, 2022 is already presenting some new challenges. Just at 215, we're seeing a lot of placements and stuff unanticipated, and those costs are soaring. So you'll recall, those of you who've been around for a while, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, there were some massive placements that put that fund way over budget. So then.
There's also Families First Act that is impacting our expenditures.
Yeah, so I believe it was during the Trump administration, they passed the Families First Act, the federal government. And so that meant that states had to come up with guidelines for out-of-home residential placements. It's called QRTP. It's qualified for residential placement treatment. And so that means that they had to provide certain services, discharge planning, having nursing on site 24/7 or access to nursing 24/7. So that's increased the daily rate to $100, $150 a day.
In addition to the 300 a day.
Yes,
or
so
that it was
I would say an
costing.
average cost right now for a child to enter residential placement is anywhere from $500 to $600 per day.
And those rates are set by the state. We have no control.
No control of that.
So then the other thing I wanted to touch on that affects this committee is, if you recall in 2020, we didn't think we could get it, but we got a paycheck protection program for GAM. We got $976,000. In 2021, we got 100% forgiveness on it, which means it converted from a 1% loan to essentially a grant that we retained. So we retained that 976,000. So that added 976,000 cash to the GAM fund, which has been kind of a windfall for GAM. So GAM finished well up for the year because of the paycheck protection being forgiven. Basically, the feds helped us through COVID. We had a lot of other supplemental fundings in GAM. Our special funding was up because of COVID. So when we washed it, when we closed 2020, it showed a liability of $1 million. When we closed 2021, it showed a surplus of nearly $1 million. And so the plan with that, it'll be in the carryover resolution at the board, is to do just like we did with the line quarry when it closed. We allocated that fund for trail improvement. The administrator is recommending allocating that GAM 976 from paycheck protection to stay in GAM's fund to be used for capital improvements in GAM that haven't been done for years. The PPP was specific to GAM. We were only able to get it after negotiation with Small Business Administration as an enterprise fund. They viewed it as a separate entity. So I would recommend that the board, not now or in the future, pulls that 976 back to the fund. The auditors were kind of surprised they approved it for us. And I think if you pull that money back, it could negate the argument that I made with Small Business Administration. So Dana has designed a good plan for the expenditure of that 976, improve everything from water heaters that are $150,000, flooring, stuff she hasn't been able to do in years. So that's the other thing to note from the budget.
On this preliminary audit, did the audit have any recommendation?
No, we've got an unmodified audit. And I do want to point out for GAM, this is important. She came, if you look at the trend, they're now only, if you take out the special assistance revenue, which you really got to throw out, if you look at GAM as a business model, and if you look at it from an income statement standpoint, GAM was only 200,000 under from making a profit in 2021 without the special assistance revenue. GAM used to be millions in the hole. So I just say that because I've watched it during my time here, and the administration down there has done a good job. We reduced the beds, if you guys recall. We gave up the bed tax. We dropped our beds down because we knew we were never going to fill them. We stopped that fixed cost. We realigned staffing around that bed model. And GAM, I honestly believe this year, GAM will break even, exclusive of special revenue, or make a profit, which is a huge, huge turnaround for Golden Acre.
What's our bed number?
I think we're at 89. I think we dropped 20. We dropped 20 and gave up 20, and that gave us like $18,000 a month in fixed costs that we recovered.
What's our nursing situation?
critical. We've done, Dana and I have spent a lot of time in the last year. We put in hiring bonus plans, referral bonus plans. We restructured the wage structure for nurses based on local comps and a deep dive. We've done a lot.
And we turn people away because of our nursing situation.
We have. So I think we're running around 67 to 70 beds occupied as our average. So that's the thing. If we could ever get the nursing staff back up, she'll be knocking a profit out because she's running right at baseline. That's just kind of like a hotel. You got to hit a certain number of rooms booked.
Yeah,
Every
we know how
month.
much we owe on the boiler situation yet.
They're clean on the water situation. They paid us off in 2021. So she's got to put in part of her money this year, and the resolution will be, I think it's 150,000 for water users out of her 976.
That's the biggest cost we've ever had.
So, but those are the key points that I thought were important for the committee regarding the statements I've got so far.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad. Let's see, number 14, legislative event report.
Supervisor Bonaparte, did you go to any events?
We haven't had any.
We haven't had any either, so it's just on there for.
Okay.
I think it's very critical for us to do it, have some, because we're still facing this. We've got no place to go out of county.
Yeah.
Chad, I had another question on, or maybe you can answer on out of county placement. You know, have we got all in state, or do we even have some out of state? I see that was a critically high number.
Oh, well, in Lisa's department, I think they typically keep them in state. You do the interstate compact agreement. I don't know how many kiddos we have right now.
Right now, we do not have any kiddos out of state in residential care. We do have some kids out of state placed with relatives to the interstate compact of children, but those are relative placements, foster care. We've made referrals to out of state residential programs, but we have not, our kiddos have not been accepted to those.
We have couple of real difficult ones that we're trying to find placement, preferably in state. But we're not having much luck.
No, and Polk County is not the only county dealing with that. Counties across the state are really struggling with finding appropriate.
That's our whole critical situation in this legislation. In our, you know, that we always face quarterly is we got no place to go. For us to make a trip down to the southern part of the state, sheriffs don't have, always got to be a company. Sheriffs don't have enough people, they can't hire enough people.
On that note, that's for the emergency detention transports over to Winnebago, not the Winnebago Vince was talking about. But the other Winnebago. That is a burden on sheriff's department, crisis services in general. The legislation has passed and they are moving forward with I think it's a 14-bed juvenile facility in Chippewa Falls and 9 extra beds at Sacred Heart for adults to be able to lessen that burden on the western
They have
counties.
made some progress.
They have, yep.
That's always the number one thing as a county representative to the Wisconsin counties. That's what I keep on pleading for.
Yep, so we were glad to see that go through. If those beds won't be enough, but it will help.
I remember the last time we had that's probably 3 years ago, and the sheriff from St. Clair County, he actually bawled at the meeting. He said, I don't have officers, that's the situation. It was.
We actually went down and testified to the burden that it places on these northern and western counties.
That's one thing we met down on that.
Yep.
So that's on the legislative agenda.
It's already been passed. It's already.
It has
funded.
been passed. So it made it through everything.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, got it. Anything else? Questions? Okay. We are cooking along. Okay, we're at the, what do you got for next month? Agenda items.
I got something. Okay. I got a constituent call for my first constituent call about the laws in Polk County about Delta 8 vaping fluid, and that apparently this is an educator who has sons in Lux schools, and apparently you can be 18 here to buy it, and everywhere else around is 21. And I would like to, I'm going to do some research between now and then, but I'd like to talk about that. I think that both the legal and the health ramifications of Delta 8.
You choose with that?
Yeah, she actually gave me a call and I reached out to, and I had a conversation with the sheriff yesterday. This Thursday, is it at noon, Sheriff? our
Yes.
meeting? The CJCC has this topic on
Oh,
its agenda,
great,
so I
seriously.
invite you to come to that. It's at noon.
I can't,
Okay. Are they recorded?
but I'll watch
I
the
don't-
recording maybe.
No, they're
No,
not
they're not.
generally, it's not, because it's not you
Yeah.
guys, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we could have that presentation next month here.
Yes, why don't-
That
We'll
would be
see
great.
if that works.
Yeah, let's
If
do
that
that.
works, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
That'd be great.
Who's the presenter on Thursday?
Yolanda.
Yolanda.
Yolanda Chandler?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's in our department. so
Right.
Get her over here.
And so I don't know about other counties, but I reached out to other court councils on our listserv. And I did ask that question. So I'll bring that information as well
Thank you.
back to next month.
Okay, so we can have kind of a legal and a health.
Yeah, I mean, I have a
Okay.
17-year-old and a 20-year-old, so I mean,
know.
I
was surprised.
that freaks me out. So, yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else?
I apologize, but I don't know what Delta 8 is.
Well, we don't really either.
But it's some, what is
It's a
that?
THC, it's a derivative of hemp that they use a lot of chemicals to make you high. And it's a vaping fluid. I didn't know either, but this woman educated me, and apparently you can't buy it, according to her, you can't buy it in Minnesota or in other counties around us. So there's this big, rush over here, and that kids are buying it for younger kids.
But that's just the 18-year-old question. I mean, they're still selling it other places.
They're
It's
selling it,
just-
but it's just the 18. Yeah, it's just that, according to this woman,
Right.
Polk County has, what they told her at the store, at the vape store, is that you can do that here in Polk County, and you can buy it at 18 here. Which
And
seems-
one of the questions that I'll have will be like, is this a town ordinance? It's
Yeah.
like, I have one in my town, so how does that?
I don't
So
know
just
that
put
the
that in
vape
your hard
store
drive.
was giving accurate information, so they might just be, we'll find out.
That was
Yeah.
that was my question, 'cause I was.
I can just summarize briefly, the federal law changed in 2019 where you have to be 21. The state hasn't adopted that. So our tobacco laws are not in conformity at the state level. And there was a bill this year and it didn't get passed, I don't believe. But so other states Minnesota might be one of those states that has complied with federal law, but Wisconsin's not. So
Tobacco is 21 now here. Yeah, tobacco. Nicotine vapes and cigarettes and chew.
and some choose to do it, some choose not. The state hasn't adopted that yet.
So it depends on where you go.
The store.
Right.
John, you got anything else for next month?
I do not. I attended the Wisconsin County seminar in Wisconsin Dells. Jay Luke and I and but there wasn't anything that
Can we also add to the agenda just an update on any of these vacancies for the nurses, the RNs, the jail nurse, that kind of stuff? See where we're at with that. I didn't ask that question during our fly through, so we can just put it on our next agenda. Does that work? Anything else? Vince, do we have anything that you can think of? We're good? All right, Johnny. To adjourn, what do you think?
I moved to adjourn.
Second.
After the 4th of July.
Yeah, happy 4th of July. Thank you.